in the title of the video, we've actually got the Trainbow version of the 395. And if you don't know already, the Trainbow livery is supposed to be celebrating LGBTQ plus pride and all that sort of stuff, so I'm glad that we've got it. I feel lucky, to be honest, to get this one, because I believe only one of them in the fleet has this livery. So it's basically a 1 in 29 chance of you getting it in the game, but it's randomised, so it's not like, after, well, I'll just explain. So the numbering goes from 39501, and actually it was at this point in the footage that I actually figured out, oh, I've got the Trainbow one, because you can't tell from the inside. You can't actually see any sort of numbering, but this is 395012, and to be honest, I've forgotten which one had the livery in the first place. Now, why 395012? I don't know if there's any special reason why this one was picked, but I don't know. Maybe they have a special reason. Maybe it's important, or that string of numbers is important to somebody. I don't know, but yeah, just one of them has it in the fleet, I believe. The Southeastern fleet, which I think is the only operator that actually has 395. Yeah. That's pretty cool. That's pretty nice that we got this one. So how the numbering system works in game, it basically picks a random number, but it won't show you the same train twice. So you'll never see a copy of 395012 on the line. You'll never see it more than once. Same with any other number. So basically the game picks them at random, as opposed to, well, they can't really set it so that a specific one is doing a specific journey, really, because in real life I don't believe they even set it like too far in advance, so they wouldn't even know, really. So it has to be randomised. 1 in 29 chance of getting it though in game. I am playing on Scenario Planner, obviously, but if you were playing even in regular service mode, you could still have a chance of getting the Trainbow livery, but there is a guaranteed way to drive it if you really want. There is a specific scenario, which I haven't I think I did that one, I think, as part of the challenge when that was out, in order to secure my place in it. I did a few other ones, but I decided to do that one as well because I wanted to just show it, really. I think I did a video, actually. So yeah, feels special to drive this one. That much is true, and it's a very rainy day as well. I know a couple of my videos will probably look like they've all been in the rain. Excuse me, at least recently. The last video we had was with the Class 43 HST, and that was about my thoughts on Glasgow Cathcart Circle, which we had a stream on the day of release of that video that I just made. Technically this next day, but you know, it was after midnight, but you know, it's negligible. Class 43 just went past though. I set that to go past us on the way. So yeah, Glasgow Cathcart Circle, brilliant looking DLC, by the way. Brilliant looking, brilliant sounding as well, because AP, Armstrong Powerhouse, they did a great job with the sounds. Basically, Dovetail probably has a deal with Armstrong Powerhouse when they really want to make one. And honestly, it was probably the only option that they had, because all of the 314s that have ever existed, 14 out of the 15 total sets that were built, have now been scrapped, and the one that's left is not, it no longer is what it used to be. It's a hydrogen, sort of like a proof of concept, sort of, not really. That is a thing on its own, so it just doesn't have the same sort of mechanics about it anymore. It's been converted into a hydrogen powered train as a sort of proof of concept that, oh hey, we're going to be replacing all our diesel powered trains by 2030 something, which Class 3 and 4 isn't even a diesel powered train to begin with, so I don't know why they chose the 314, but okay, maybe it's because it was the easiest to convert, or it was just going out of service, so they thought, oh, we'll take this opportunity. But basically, yeah, they've all been scrapped pretty much, and there is no way of undoing that. You can't really reverse time here. So Dovetail basically have to use other things to make it. I believe this is the case. Unless they plan Glasgow about, I don't know, they retired in 2019, the 3 and 4s. So unless they had it planned before then and were able to get some stuff from there, I do think that they had to go elsewhere to find out all this stuff. And Armstrong Powers not only helped a little bit with the sounds, they also, believe they did research back when they were doing their pack on the 314. So they have probably the most reliable information about the 314 at the time. So I'm guessing that might be why the DLC is actually a bit higher priced than I think anybody really expected. Now, as for people complaining about how higher priced it is, I don't think many people have complained. There's been a few that have said, yeah, it looks nice, but I'll wait until it's on sale. For me personally, I'm going to be paying full price on day one, because I really want to drive the 314, and also I want the route. And I don't really like waiting for sales anymore, particularly because I can never really predict when they're going to happen. I don't really get information about when the sales are going on, and if I do, I don't know where to find it. So I'm not subscribed to Dovetail, so I might not know when things are going to go on sale. That might be the case, but I don't like subscribing to places anyway, mostly because most of the information that comes through there is usually not really irrelevant. It is relevant, it's just more marketing stuff. I mean, if you're going to be sending me information about DLCs that might interest me, the chances are I've already got them. So, and I don't think there's any way of them knowing what DLCs you actually have. I mean, there is a sort of Dovetail Live account, which I think they might be able to tell what routes you actually have installed, but I'm not 100%, so if they're just going to be sending me some marketing stuff, I'm not really too interested, because the game does that anyway. And I mostly decide to buy things on my own. I don't really fall for marketing too much. It's one of the strong points about me, actually. I don't really fall for marketing. Advertising things to me, especially with YouTube and other sites like that, shoving things down my throat is not going to make me want to buy it. What makes me want to buy something is me personally finding value in it. So, for example, I like Southeastern High Speed because I like what it's all about. I bought the 465 because it's a lovely train, it's very well done, and it turns out to be my favourite in the whole game right now. There's a bunch of other trains that I like driving, but the 465, that's the best one in my opinion, at least for me to drive personally. It's so smooth, it's easy to operate, I've pretty much mastered the thing. So, yeah, I mean, that's just how it is really. Because I like it, that's why I bought it. As opposed to, oh, do you want to buy this German route which you can't even pronounce? Asking me, oh hey, do you want to buy it? No, because I'm not really interested in German routes to begin with, and also not really interested in the trains that are in them either. Also, I can't even pronounce most of the names. That's nothing against it, by the way, that's just me not wanting to learn how to. But if I'm not interested, I'm not interested, simple as. And, I'd rather go on my PS4 and then find out, oh, it's on sale, because it does come up sort of on the main screen whether something's on sale or not in the store section. Shows you when something's new, and usually when something's new there's maybe a sale going on for other stuff as well, so it is what it is. I just check it fairly often. So yeah, that's that. like I said though, buying it on day one for full price, £24.99 or £25 to anybody, uh, anybody who's living with a brain would say £25. They round it up to the 1 pence. They take a pence off it to make it look more appealing. It's like, it's not £100, it's 99.99. Actually no, it's £100, because no one's really going to say, oh, I want my penny changed, thank you. No. Not for me anyway. For people who are obsessive over that kind of thing, maybe they'd ask for the penny change, but I certainly do not. In fact, to be honest, if it's less than 50 pence, I usually tell whoever it is just to keep it. Just keep the change. Because in reality, what am I going to do with less than 50 pence in this day and age? Maybe buy like one sweet out of a box. You know, one piece of candy if you're an American. You know, small chocolate bars, they used to cost less than 50p. Now they do not. Thanks Jamie Oliver with your sugar tax. Also, completely unrelated to trains, but I've got some Pepsi Max raspberry. I thought it was cherry. It's not, it's raspberry. So that's new. I didn't even look. But Pepsi Max raspberry, as soon as I tasted it, I thought, hang on, this isn't, oh, it's raspberry. It's not bad. It's not awful. It's just got a little bit of a weird aftertaste to it. That's really all I have to say about it. Though I don't know whether it's the raspberry flavouring's fault or that's the fault of because it's a zero sugar drink. You know, if you're like me, you do drink zero sugar stuff, but you only do that because it's cheaper. Because in the UK we have a thing called the sugar tax, which basically means that everything with quite a large amount of sugar in it, like soft drinks and what have you, there's a tax on it, which means you have to pay for that stuff. It's supposed to be an incentive to eat healthily, though to be quite honest, I think it's an utterly pointless venture, and I blame Jamie Oliver, because that's how everyone else plays. That's the comedy routine, is that it's Jamie Oliver's fault. It's not really his fault, because if it was just him talking about it and just him voting for it, no, he wouldn't get anywhere. But it's all the people who listened to this silly idea that if you tax people on something, they're less likely to buy it in the end of the day. No, because all you're doing is just forcing people to pay more, which is, in my opinion, a bit stupid. And it really doesn't solve the problem, because the things are still on sale anyway. You know, give or take, most people are probably going to be able to afford the new prices anyway. If they really want it, they will pay it. So unless it's like £1 million per can, I don't see anybody rushing to stop doing it, unless it really does eat into their budgets, which, you know, it could very well do, you know, for families who have to buy soft drinks for the kids, and how many kids that there actually are, and how much they consume. Yeah, probably going to be quite an expensive venture. Now I know we should all eat healthily, and I get that. It's just that in the case of Pepsi Max and Coke Zero, it doesn't taste awful. It's not awful, right? But it could be a hell of a lot better. A hell of a lot better than it actually is. Because the moment that you take even a tiny drop of the real stuff, the full fat, the full sugar stuff, you wonder why the hell you ever thought this is going to be just as good. Because if you compare the two side by side, and I'm looking at you, Pepsi, I don't know if Coke have done this, but Pepsi definitely have. They said, oh, take the taste test. We have real Pepsi on one side and then Pepsi Max on the other, and 90-something% of people couldn't tell the difference. Oh wait, 9 out of 10. Something like that. Which is the same thing, you know, 90% of people. Which is utter bollocks, right? which is complete and utter rubbish. Everyone can tell the difference. If you've got no taste buds, I would understand that. But everyone can tell the difference. You can just taste it right away. What the hell? Like, don't even lie. Stop lying. It's not as if I have a heightened sense for this sort of thing. Any idiot can tell one's got more sugar in it than the other. It's obvious. So don't even say that they taste the same, because they really, really don't. If they did, no one would bother buying regular Pepsi. Do you see how that works? So if there's, Pepsi Max, if it has the same taste as regular Pepsi, no one's going to go for Pepsi anymore, regular stuff, because it's more expensive, and you get the same experience with Pepsi Max, which is now cheaper by comparison, because it's got no sugar tax on it, because there is no sugar in it. It's got sweeteners, but they don't count towards the taxation. So it must taste different. It must have some other benefit to stay relevant. You see how this works? Oh yeah, but I know I sound really salty about it. I kind of am, because at the same time, Lucozade, they have Lucozade Zero or something like that. Yeah, I think they do. I think Lucozade are owned by Coca-Cola. That's probably why they use the Zero tag. But yeah, I don't know. Don't know for sure. Basically, my whole point is that Lucozade dropped a lot of the sugar content, and I could instantly tell, because back when the sugar tax actually came out, I remember distinctly I had a 4-pack of Lucozade Original, right, which used to be one of my favourite flavours. This was when I was back in college, right? So they had a machine in college, a vending machine, and I'd always buy a bottle of Lucozade every single day, or most of the days anyway. And that, I thought was fine, because I believe at the time Lucozade hadn't actually changed their content yet. They hadn't changed the amount of sugar that was being put in, and they eventually did, and it was so obvious when they did, to me at least. And I would freely get either Lucozade Orange or Original, and Original used to taste really, really nice actually. Now it doesn't. Now it tastes like weak lemonade. That was the description that I gave it, because when I took a drink out of the new taste, as it were, I remember thinking to myself, this isn't Lucozade. What have they put in this? And I thought, is this a genuine mistake? Is this one just not mixed correctly? Is this just a factory error? So I thought, okay, I'll open another one, exactly the same taste, weak lemonade, it tastes exactly like that. And I thought, okay, what the hell have they done? And I happened to have a bottle of Lucozade from college out of the machine, which had the proper amount of sugar in it, and I looked at the two side by side and thought, hang on a minute, they removed the sugar, which makes it taste like that. That just goes to show you how much difference it can make. Right, I don't even remember how much they took out, but it was enough so that I could notice it. And I thought, well, this tastes awful now. That's a shame. I mean, I think, to be perfectly honest, there was probably another way for them to preserve basically the same flavour if they did something else. They could take the sugar out, sure, I wouldn't understand that, but if they tried and preserve the taste another way, it wouldn't be as bad. But they didn't bother to do that, so, but Lucozade Original now, I mean, it tastes better than it did then, but that's mainly because I don't drink it super often. Lucozade Orange is passable. It's passable, it's not even... It's passable. It's got a bit of a weird aftertaste to it now, to be honest. But it's fine, I suppose. It just used to be a lot better. used to be being the key word, and I'm sure in other countries where they don't have a sugar tax, Lucozade may not have bothered to do this. Maybe they did it across the board, but I'm not entirely sure because I don't know where else Lucozade is actually sold in the world. And so yeah, we have a sugar tax. Is it really that awful? It's annoying because the stuff that is actually taxed is quite expensive. Buying regular Pepsi, however, for example, that's quite expensive relatively to Pepsi Max. You actually get more for your money, really, with the zero sugar or low sugar stuff. Excuse me. So, yeah, that's the situation we've been thrust into. But this raspberry fruit, it's alright. Like I said, it's alright. It's just a bit of a weird aftertaste. Don't know what the fault is there. I'm no food expert though. But yeah, thank you Jamie Oliver for making us all drink this swill now. Thank you. Just to save a few pennies, or more pennies. It's actually quite a bit more, relatively speaking. Anyway, what else? Well, something hopefully relevant to the game. Hopefully. If you are looking at the footage and you're a bit confused, you'll notice that it says kilometers per hour as the speed limit rather than miles. My speedometer in the right hand corner, bottom right hand corner, that one measures in miles per hour all the time across the board. It doesn't matter whether it's an English train, a German train, any other thing, it's always in miles per hour because that's what I measure in, right? And you can set it to be permanently one or the other, or you can set it to be dynamic so that it changes depending on, you know, what the train actually uses. Now in the mode that I have the 395 in right now, this is set to the pantograph mode, basically, AC power, which means it draws a hell of a lot more power. It's got a lot more get up and go, because this is meant to be kind of like a high-speed train, but also like a hybrid. So it's a high-speed train in AC mode, but in DC mode it's slower, but it's more controllable, I guess, to put it simply. It's basically in DC power mode got the same kind of it feels like it performs the same as the 375, which we got as well in Southeastern High Speed, and that's fine because 375 is actually quite nice, to be honest. Performance wise, it's just, you know, AC is faster, and I always say it to AC because, yeah, the speed, and I don't know, it just feels nicer to drive in AC, to be honest with you. But the reason why it measures in kilometers per hour is because it also uses TVM. So TVM is a system that's always going to be in kilometers per hour because it's not actually strictly British, right? So the train uses TVM. It's basically an arm that extends from the pantograph onto a piece of wire, and that basically tells you, the driver, what the speed limit should be, because when you're going about 100, 200 miles an hour, or however much in kilometers, you won't really be able to read the signage at the side of the track to tell you what the speed limit is. So TVM basically does the work for you and displays it in front, actually on those right at the front there, not the red digital display. That's the speed in kilometers per hour, because that's what it's set to be in with TVM and AC and all that. But there is no TVM arm. There is no TVM wire that we connect to on this particular route, so it doesn't actually show up, but the train still reads out in kilometers per hour. I hope that makes sense. But if you've seen the other videos where I do that, you will have seen TVM in action. And if you've seen things like LTV Mediterranean, the TGV, that has it as well. yeah, we've had a nice journey with this train. Very nice indeed. A special Trainbow. Excuse me. I really must sort this voice out of mine. Really must sort it out. But it is nice to drive again in Train Sim World 2. Hopefully, I'll be able to start working on some more videos and get through my San Andreas Let's Play, which I'm working on, which you haven't seen yet because all the videos are going to be enlisted before I can sort the thumbnails out. But when I sort those out, I'll gradually be releasing the episodes as they come, you know. Hopefully with a decent buffer, so that if I accidentally can't do anything for a while, it won't matter, you know. Or, you know, I can just release them. They're already uploaded, it's just they're uploaded to be enlisted. Anyway, thanks very much for watching this particular video. I do hope you enjoyed it. And if you do want to, you know, keep up with my videos, subscribe or whatever it is you do these days, might change by tomorrow, knowing YouTube. I'll see you all later.